What up? What up? What up? It is the Shark Cove. We are back. It's another 4-game slate. The excitement is in the air. I'm excited. This is my most hype show of the week because I've taken 2 days off. I'm refreshed. I don't know if you noticed it, but by Saturday, I'm beat down. I'm beat down by game cancellations. I'm beat down by overindulgence in alcohol. I'm beat down by everybody else last week binking, not this guy. Everybody else that was on the show binking, not me. But it's a new week. It's Tuesday. I'm excited. We have a couple of guests here. First and foremost, a mainstay on the show, a man that we will be without for several days in the upcoming week, month, not the year. He'll be on. Weird time zone, but we've got man, the myth, the legend, double LCK all day, Mr. Moose. How you doing?
Hello, guys. Can you hear me okay? Everything's cool?
Everything's cool. We can hear you okay. So you're not going to be around as much for a little bit here.
Yeah, this is the final show. I'll be traveling. I'll be in Europe, but I can still do the show. It'll just be evening where I am, and I'll be on a laptop, but I'll bring in all my sound gear and stuff.
It'll be
So,
morning, you mean? It'll be
oh,
like,
sorry, yeah, it'll be when we do the show. I think it'll be evening, and then when the actual plays happen, I'll actually be watching in the morning.
yeah, but I mean, it'll be if it's 8:30 here, it's 6 o'clock. I mean, isn't that it's like 2 a.m.? It's
Yeah,
later.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
Well,
is
I
later.
mean,
We do the show too early.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do.
Oh, I can do
Um,
those morning episodes you do now.
Yeah, I haven't started those yet. Maybe you're going to start those tomorrow. We'll see. We don't have a Shark Cove tomorrow, guys, because we only have a 2-gamer. LPL is off for a day. Now, making his Shark Cove debut, a man that came into the limelight on a day that I was a little bit tilted. I was drinking. It was sloppy Saturday. I had posted something on Twitter. I had just talked about how everything was going against me. And I misinterpreted his response to my tweet. I thought the tweet was saying, essentially, no, you suck. That's why you've been running bad. Skill will always prevail. That's not what he meant. He was a brother in arms saying, I understand running bad happens. I'm right there with you. Everybody in the Discord, they roasted me for it, rightfully so. Bad perception. That's what happens when you're drinking early in the day. We've got our man, Just DFS. Justin, how are you, man?
What's up? Doing pretty good, man. I didn't know you said you were going to do an introduction. I was curious where that was going to go, but yeah. So that same day, I was having very similar feelings. It had been like 6 days for me without doing anything, and I was like, I feel your pain. I'd obviously seen your podcast a couple of times, and then I saw your response, and you was like, "Who's this?" I'm like, I got to come back with something witty, but then I was like, oh, I'm gonna just keep it simple. And then you told me everybody was roasting you, so I had to jump into Discord to see. But yeah, I took it well, and everything's all good.
Yeah, I was like, "Who is this?" And then I saw that you followed me, and I was like, "Well, shit. Maybe I read this the wrong way." And I went into Discord. I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're a dick." And look, truth be told, that is a problem that I have from time to time. So, no surprise there. We've got, yeah. No, we've got that drama going down there. No, I'm not irked. It's just I'm over it, Raj. Like I just. I don't need that in my life. I don't need that negativity. Just because a guy doesn't start doesn't mean you get your money back. Have some responsibility. Man up, pull your pants up, and let's giddy up. So we've got a really interesting dilemma here today. We've got a 4-game slate. We've got some mega chalk, or what would be mega chalk. In the most obvious can't lose spot. This isn't like FPX can't lose to TT spot. This is much greater than that. We have COVID issues. We have pricing issues. Do we go to a top captain issue? Just so much to kind of diverge and digest and try and figure out today. So, without further ado, what we're going to go into quickly first is this first game has some COVID issues. Potentially is going to be the first time this team Fred at Brion at minus 197 is that large of a favorite. Not only that, but they're an affordable favorite on a day when people aren't affordable. Moose, I know you are a brother bro whisperer. That was difficult to say. We've got a fellow brother bro whisperer watching the show in Roche, the original, along with me, I think. You guys have hit with it. I haven't. I've always been on the wrong side. Same with RA. Like all my teams, I'm never on the right side. So I need you to guide me. Like, are we playing bro today? Is it a bro day?
Yeah, yeah, it's a bro day, or as my title says, it's double LCK day, because everything else is too expensive. But I really love today's slate because we've spent the last 3 weeks. Is it LCK time? Is it LCK's time? Look, guys, LCK is winning. No, guys, LPL is winning. No, LCK is winning. LCK is winning again. Oh, should we go LCK here? Oh, guys, bro was the optimal LCK and one of the craziest slates of the year. Now we finally have our answer. We have no other choice. We have to play LCK. So yes, this is it. We have to play LCK. It's bro day. It's umpty time. It's lava time. It's Henna time. Uh, there's COVID issues. Fred and Brion minus 200. Give me that shit.
Now, Justin, do you think that I mean, I almost feel like this is a trap. Like, I've never been in this position before where bro is the favorite. Like, I've always been able to lock bro in my lineup, and when they lose, I'm like, oh yeah, hey, like that's okay. That's totally what we expected. Now we're in this weird position that if we put bro in our lineup, we're putting them there in a position of power, a position like we expect them to win. We don't know what team they're really playing. Are they playing HLE? Are they playing the HLE Challengers team? Are they really that different? What do you think about this situation here?
So I've been watching the bro hype in the pod here and in the Discord for y'all for like the last week or two. And I almost think y'all are pushing it to the point where it's no longer a shark play. They're favored against a team that nobody knows who's playing. The ownership's on HLE is going to be gone. Everybody's remembering bro being optimal. And, I honestly don't have them projected much differently than even the other LPL team, but the EDG, LGD's out of much better than those. But those other three games are relatively close. I think y'all hype bro up so much. HLE has so much confusion of what's going on that their ownership's going to be above a level worthy of playing. So I do think it could be a trap, but only time will tell. But I do agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's just a weird situation for us. We've been hyping. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not even trying to convince anybody to play LCK teams anymore because people still won't do it. People still exit out. People still question it. But look, again, it just comes down to the fact that they don't register as many kills as their LPL counterparts. However, a lot of their fights are over objectives. They're not as scattered, and as a result, the kill participation is there, which is kind of strange because when I looked through something today, and we'll probably talk about it later, but I found out that like Twisted Fate is almost like a 90% pick ban presence in the LCK, and he's like 40 or 50 in the LPL, which is just kind of strange. He's got like a 75% win rate. It's the best win rate in the LCK of any champion that's in a type of significant presence. He's 10-4. It's not much to read into. It's just funny that in contrast, he's like 40% over in the LPL. Just obviously they play the game a little bit different. Moose, here's the thing. So we don't know who's going to be playing for HLE. We have no idea, but the reserves are in the pool. The last that I checked, or at least some of them, I think. Yeah. Regardless, I mean, if they come out and it's Sam D, whether it's Sam D or this other dude or anybody, how interested are you in playing that HLE side of it? Because, like, quite frankly, this isn't a team that scores a lot of points or even has the kill participation to back it up when they do. But, bro's, I think bro's going to be one of the highest owned teams in GPPs today.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think that HLE really has it in any aspect of their game to really beat bro. And even in games where bro lose, they really lose to a team that has better macro and better team fighting, and they just get to objectives first. They outplay them throughout the entire, like when bro loses, they lose. You know what I mean? Like there's no like 50-50 ball. Like when I watch them lose, they're bad. When I watch them win, they're good. In fact, if you remember last week, I had a sick lineup with like I think it was EDG and like 4 BLG, and then I had a bro team and they got like 71 points or something because that's a game where they just dominate. So I just don't see. I I hate to be that guy that says never say never, but if you are on HLE tonight, you're hoping that the players that are coming in and cars have a big game, but at the same time it's like who are you playing, how are you going to fit them, the like Justin said, ownership wise it's a great play, but it really is like a close your eyes and just watch the car wreck happen, because I feel like I'm throwing money away every time I put money on HLE. They
I
have
mean,
talented players, but I'm scared.
for me, if I knew who the starters was right now for HLE, I would definitely play quite a bit of them. But I'm not going to be up at 2 like a lot of people do. So I'm not going to get that last minute news. So the risk there is not worth the reward. Yeah, could they beat bro and have 2 17, 18 kill games or a 15 and a 17 or something like that and beat a small stack to match with EDG or one of the underdogs, LGD or the other game? Yeah, they absolutely could, but I can't get there because of the risk is way higher than the reward for me. And then just the last statement on bro, I mean, they fit with I'm pretty sure they fit with all 4 of the LPL teams, and that's going to make for something super popular with your 3 stacks or your small stacks.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things I'd say about HLE is I have it up on the screen here, and I actually have my sheet updated. I spent some time doing that today. Maybe they're not in the right order. Maybe I'm missing one. I don't think so, but at least for the LCK, we're updated on all the teams, and you can see here that when HLE has won, look, they have that 25 kill game that was a distant memory back in the opening game for them against Nongshim. They had a 19 against DRX recently, and they actually do get a fair amount of kills in their losses, which is advantageous for a team that if they go 2-1, that they could potentially outscore the game not played bonus. However, when we look at a team like Bro, and I'm not telling you can't play HLE, for somebody that's not going to be up, I totally get that, because you don't know who they're going to play and you're going to be taking quite a few guesses. If you are going to be up, obviously, people aren't going to play them for that same reason. And then you couple it with the fact that they're just a dog shit team, that's going to really lower the ownership. We saw the problems that or the potentially lower ownership that Gen G commanded. And Gen G is a good team when they had COVID questions. So, I expect them to be very low owned. But Bro, over their last several series has been, dating back to this Nongshim series several weeks ago, when they've won, they've actually been pretty similar, in my opinion, to LPL teams. And when they've lost, that's the other thing. When they've lost, aside from these 2 games here, they got a couple 16s, some 12s, some 10s. Again, going back into games that are going to give you an optimal team and an optimal stack. It just sucks that this is on a 4-game slate. It sucks that this is on a slate where, the pricing is so tight, because when we look at this right here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a 9-game sample. What's 9? 164 divided by 9. That's an 18 kill per win. That's pretty attractive. That's a number that we're going to target. I think Bro is going to be popular. I don't rule out HLE. Make your own decisions and be responsible for your own life. Let's go on to the next one. Actually, let's go to this game first. First and foremost, let's talk about EDG and LGD. LGD is a massive underdog here, and I think rightfully so. They're probably one of the worst teams that I've ever seen in my life. Not the worst, but they're in that grouping. EDG has struggled as of late when they've played top-tier competition. But Justin, I don't think anybody in their right mind thinks that this is an FPX TT situation. FPX looked questionable coming into that. TT is not good, but this isn't LGD versus EDG. Stranger things have happened. What would you think, percentage-wise, you would play LGD? Are you going to play some LGD? I don't know how many lineups you play.
Yeah. So I'll preface that a little bit. So I've been playing DFS for a couple of years, and I've played heavier than I have recently. I've taken my money out for other ventures, but I still play somewhere between 50 and 150 bucks a slate. I don't really do anything but GPPs. So I usually have anywhere from 4 to 10, 15 lineups sometimes, depending on what the slate is. But I probably over prepared prior to this and kind of wrote down the stacks and that I knew would fit that I might be looking to get in after we were done when I built. And, the smart GPP player is going to have a decent amount of LGD. And if I just look at my list here, I probably got 20 to 25% LGD. Hang on one second. Max, hold on. Sorry. And
it's totally okay. You've seen the show before. We always have interruptions in the background. Children's a new one. Totally okay.
Right. Cool. But yeah, I mean, if you're playing GPPs, a smart person's going to have a percentage of LGD. 20% is probably too much. But, if they do win, they're going to be probably the highest kill per game in this series if they beat EDG 2 or 2-1. So I probably am overexposed. I do think that they are probably the second lowest owned team, maybe third. HLE, Sandbox are projecting low ownership for me, but EDG is obviously a great team. LGD is a bottom of the league team. Not much you're staking on except for a crazy, crazy upset.
You need advice for the dumb people spell? That's not a problem. I've got the guy for you, Moose. Are you going to be playing some LGD?
I'm working on a thesis that ever since the WBG loss, I don't think that EDG are the same team they were. And I don't know why. But if you look at their last 5 games, ever since the WBG loss, they're 2-3. They've lost to they beat FPX and Invictus. Now, if we assume that FPX and Invictus are what they are, they have losses to V5, now lost to Top Esports, a loss to WBG, and it doesn't. I'm not sure what is going on with Edward Gaming because they're supposed to be the best team in the league, but something's not clicking. They're trying out a different top laner, trying to see what's going to work, what's not going to work. And I don't really know if they're finding their answer. That being said, this could be their answer in an amazing bounce back spot with LGD being what LGD are. But at the same time, I don't really think that LGD have anything to lose in this game, and they are coming off of a win. I know that I was kind of spotty on my HLE take, but I think that you might have a case where we have a night where a team only needs to win one game to be optimal.
Oh, one of those. Wow. So we are trying to say that this is going to be like a WE situation where LGD is going to come out. They're going to put up like 10
29 kills.
They're going to put up 10 in the first game, lose. You're going to see EDG's 1-0. You're going to go to sleep. Like, damn, like EDG was up like 26-10, and then they're just going to get wiped like 26-2. And then, the next game is going to be like a 12-12 or something like that. Not that couldn't happen. Not that almost didn't happen against Top Esports. Not that we just saw WE do that. Man, that is a bold call, my friend. I did not expect that. I didn't expect all this LGD love here because, quite frankly, I don't think that they really have a chance in this series. I know what you said. Like, when it comes down to EDG has looked a lot shakier. Spell's been working on a weird thesis that they've been overrated. Sure. Like, what are we? They were considered the best team in the world, and now they're what, like top 5? Yes, by the definition of that, they are overrated. But let's pump the brakes here. The teams that they lost to, WBG, at that time, that was shocking, but it has come to light that they're actually #good. They beat they lost to V5, who also have, look, they look like they troll half the time and they look like they should lose, but they keep pulling it out and they keep winning and they actually keep getting better. I think that EDG, had they played V5 at the beginning of the split, game 1, game 2, somewhere in that range, I do believe that EDG wins that. But they, that era or that aura of invincibility was taken from them. And then like that whole series against Top is just, look, they shouldn't have lost that third game. Let's just be quite frankly honest. There was one mental break. And look, when it comes down to it, you make the mental break early in the game, you can come back from it. You make it at a Baron fight, 30 minutes into a game, you're probably not coming back to that. You can't go one by one into a team. You just simply can't do it. You're all going to get wiped. That's not how this game works. So, look, I don't think that it's a bad idea to play some LGD if you're multi-entering because, as Justin said, like if they do win, or like Moose said, if they lose 1-2, there is still a very good possibility that they are the best scoring team on the slate, and they're going to have next to no ownership. I do think that it'll be pretty similar to that of HLE, probably a little bit higher, but not much. These two teams will be the lowest owned teams on the slate. I can't see Sandbox being higher owned. I mean, look, when it comes down to it, these two teams, I feel like HLE and LGD have very low chances of winning. But so does Sandbox. The thing is, when Sandbox wins against Damwon, do they score well enough to be a team that you want? And with that, let's go into it. Damwon versus the Sandbox Sand Sharks, plus 345 for Sand Sharks. Damwon's minus 550. They're the second biggest favorite on the slate. Are we playing some Damwon, Moose? Is that a thing?
Yeah, we have to play Damwon. We just have to do it. Everybody that's faced Sandbox and won has done well, including Ghost, who hasn't done well all season. So you really do have to play Damwon. With that being said, I think this is probably a 2-1 game. I mean, there's a good if Damwon rolls, they're probably optimal, but I could definitely see the same thing that has happened to Damwon all season, where we kind of see them shake off a loss and then come back in a 2-1 win. It's tough for me to exactly be able to fully determine what extent and what kind of Sandbox we're going to see, but I think in this case, you definitely have to take a shot on both sides. Damwon obviously will perform well if they win, especially if they 2-0. But I'm not counting out Sandbox because I just, like everybody else this season, I just don't fully trust Damwon.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, Damwon's almost become a meme team in the LCK, and they're not really that bad. I mean, they've took some L's to T1, took some L's to Gen. Nong Shim was a series early on. I mean, I don't think they're as bad as the perception gets for them. I mean, they're up there in the top few teams of the LCK.
I don't think that they have a bad perception of being bad. They just have a perception of scoring bad.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue. Like I think I fully expect Damwon to win this, but
Yes.
But like, what are they going to score? I mean, I have this up, and you can look at those points. Like, can you justify going to a Damwon team, Justin, that scores 12.5 kills per win on average, and we're at the end of the split?
Yeah. I have them projected at 14.3, which is the lowest out of all the teams on the slate. So you're going to take a minus 550 favorite. That's probably going to be the highest owned LCK team. I mean, 14 kills. If you get 13-15, 14-14, that's just not going to get it done, especially when Bro HLE probably could get a little fiesta-ish for a LCK team. HLE's people just play T1, so you have no idea what those people are going to look like. But for me, I have very few Damwon lineups, and they're all small stacks.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Damwon is just a really difficult team to go to. I feel like we've talked about this, at great length, that you're going to go broke if you continue to chase Damwon. But like, we always have these shades of Damwon 2020, and even in 2021, they had a couple pop-off games, and they've had those in losses this year when they've been pushed by better teams. But I'm just not sure that Sandbox is the team that's going to push them. Sandbox does give up a fair amount of points, as you can see right here. Their points and losses are not like outrageously high, but it's across the board. It's just which game are we going to get? And we've seen it time and time again. Damwon is okay with playing the macro game, playing a long macro game, not worried about engaging, not taking unnecessary risks. It's the way that they're coached. It's the way that they play. And I just don't see that changing against a Sandbox. Like there have been two types of teams over the last 2 years that will push Damwon into optimal DFS games. Teams that just will go back and punch them in the face. And, we saw it constantly with Nongshim last year. For whatever reason, that team just came and I think that they knew that we're going to come and we're going to skirmish with you. And they did it successfully. The other team that did it, on the other hand, was unsuccessful, was DRX. And I think we even saw T1 kind of do that. Or maybe it was Damwon trying to do it to T1 and just not being successful. In any case, they reverted back to another, a much more conservative play style in the second game. Still got rolled. It's just, even if they get 18 or 19, what's your confidence that they'll get 14 the next game? Like when I'm projecting a series, I don't just project the one game, I project two. And I think I have them pretty close to what you do. I think I have them like at 28 or 29 kills. And that's just not going to get it done, especially not at their price. So, play Damwon if you want, play Sandbox if you want. But I don't know what kind of ceiling they have.
No ceiling. If Ghost can get 90 points, then Duck Dump can score. But does Damwon want to score? Do they really want to play, or do they want a W and they want to walk off?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and the challenge is, who else are you playing on that team? Are you playing Showmaker, who by far, look, when we look at the statistics, you can't play Showmaker in comparison. Every other one of these mids is scoring in the mid 30s or closer 30 at the minimum in wins, where Showmaker's like 24. Like, how can you justifiably play a large amount of members of this team, which are constantly outscored by their team slot? You just can't. You can't. I mean, look, go ahead, do it. Please, if you're watching, play Damwon. Play Damwon every slate.
I was muted just a while ago, and I was going to make a comment, but we're talking about all these different teams, and of course, cash versus GPP is a lot different. If your risk tolerance and all that factors in, but they're going to probably score you at best maybe 75 points. From the jungle mid and ADC varying slightly differently. 50 and some change from the support, and with one other bloody LPL team and all three of the other LCK teams projecting for more points than a win. It isn't there.
Yeah, it's difficult. I get the idea behind it, and I just wonder how many people are going to go to them as a whole, just based on the pricing that we have. Then we have kind of the one game that isn't as clear cut, the game that has premier game. It's the last game of the slate. We've got Weibo Gaming, who we thought they were going to be good, but did anybody think that they were going to be this good? And then we've got RNG, who I think have fallen slightly short of expectation, depending on who you are. Recently have had some struggles getting 2-0'd by RA, but they did win a series against LNG that was 2-1. I think, when they lost to V5, there was a little bit of surprise in that they were favored. Most people were on RNG, I feel like, in that game. We've come to find out that V5 is very good, and that game is not as surprising as it was when it happened, even though it was a short time ago. You have to play Weibo if you want to play two favorites, I believe, because they're the only one that's affordable. You really can't mix and match EDG and Damwon or EDG and Brion unless you want to do what your namesake is saying and go two LCK teams. But then you're playing low ceiling Damwon. You've got Weibo here that's affordable. You can do a top captain, the Shy, with 4 EDG. You can do a Angel captain with 2 EDG and Brion in the team slot. What's your take? What's your read? What are we looking at?
I think if you guys like gambling, RNG is the perfect team to roll the dice on, because they are notorious for this kind of crap. Or as Prime says, the random number generators. That's what they are. That's just RNG, baby. You never know. They're gonna play as a 3, as a 6, or a 9. They're either the best team in the league, or they're some mid-range crap team that loses to Rare Atom. I think that realistically, RNG has 2 real games left. They have this game and they have Edward Gaming. After that, they're just playing cans. So I think that right now, these guys have been studying their butts off for this game. I think they're significantly more prepared for this game than they ever cared about RA. And after this, they're gonna spend the next 2-3 days preparing for Edward Gaming. And I think that because I know that they've had all this stretch of time to prepare, I do feel a lot better about RNG going into the slate. That being said, Weibo has been good. They've been extremely successful, and it's definitely hard to bet against them. But as for dogs and the way the slate is shapes out, I would not be surprised to see RNG ownership, and I expect to see a lot of it.
Yeah, I think that's the big concern that I have. Like, obviously, RNG is the team that fits with just about everybody because they are a dog and they're, the smallest dog, and they get a fair amount of kills. Not always. I mean, they're pretty content with taking care of business the way that they need to. But they're not afraid to get bloody. They definitely can. And this is a revenge game for Bin. Do you take any of that into account, Justin? Are you on RNG here? Where do you have them in stack rankings?
Yeah, so the bin narrative is interesting. I didn't put that together, but for RNG, you were talking about Prime Call saying random number generator. I've long said a Royal never give up unless I play them, and then they seem to just come out the gate good, and then it looks like they just give up if they're on my roster. But if they're not, it's the opposite. But I'd look at stats and compile them all, and their early game seems to be a little bit better than the Wee Bulls to me. And Wee Bulls is just a clean team that plays, the long game, and they've been super successful, very hot streak. I don't know, they won 7 or 8 of their last games. And I don't know if they're the top team. Obviously, the rankings show them that, but they're definitely up there. But I do think that RNG is the lowest owned of the high kill potential people, with the percentage of winning high enough to warrant going there.
Okay. I was going to say, I mean, are you trying to tell me that LGD is going to be higher on? No, okay, I got you.
Right. So I think RNG's percentage of winning, I don't, the numbers and what they equal out to wise, I do think it's probably 30 or 40% chance to win this game. And, it's going to be able to be made a lot of different ways so you can get unique. So as much as I have been on Weeble and I do think that they can win, I almost entertain RNG as the secondary with EDG for cash, because I think Weeble is going to be very popular. And like you said, you got to go the shy or top captain to even get those 2 teams. And strictly speaking, cash head-to-heads, double ups, whatever you play. That's just going to be extremely popular. Then when we did see 2 tops win today, what are you going to put supports there, try to be different? But I do think RNG has a better chance to win than most people may think. And, it's somewhere where I'll be in probably at least 40% of my lineups tonight, either big stacks or small stacks.
So, like, Moose, let me ask you something. I mean, when we're talking cash, I don't think you can play RNG in cash. I mean, you can. You're playing a dog in cash, and I just don't know if that's the right thing to do. If you have conviction, a winner take all, absolutely. But when we're talking head to heads, I think you almost have to find a way to, give you as much safety as possible. And I'm going to give you 3 different scenarios, Moose, and I want you to kind of digest these. Scenario 1 is the one that I have up on my screen right now, and that is going to be a support captain. The problem is that it's Kellen, and Kellen is one of the worst scoring supports in the league, but it does give you 4 EDG. Now it gives you 4 EDG. It gives you, the Dam 1 ADC. It gives you the Dam 1 gaming team slot, and it gives you, a projected score of 482 plus the team. You have the best possible odds that you can from a bookmaking standpoint on your cash team. Now, your other option, remember this is 482, is you could go with something like this. You could go with the Shy Captain. This one's projected about 23 points higher. You have still 4 EDG. You have a top captain. And when we look at what the Shy has done over the last couple of series, it's, 65, 75 points. It's been a lot more tolerable than the 40-point Shy in wins that we saw earlier in the season, right? Now, that's another option. And then let me give you one more, maybe 2. I don't know. Let's go ahead and do this Angel Captain that, D-Mort wants us to look at, that he thinks is going to be the highest owned. And I'm just not sure that that's the case, but maybe he's right. When you do something like this, and then you have 5,400, so you can't go 5 Weibo, doesn't work like that, but you can't go Brion. This puts you around that same price point, but now you have 3 teams involved. And then the only other thing that I would say is that you can do, taking them out of it, if you want to go your double LCK, you can do that. Now you've got an umpty captain, much, 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 much lower percentage-wise. What's your read on all of those?
On my cash, obviously.
Yeah, we're not talking GPP. We're talking strictly cash here. So
in cash, I always try to, my goal in cash life is to play winners. You want to play winners. You want to you want to fit winners in, and you let the slate figure itself out. You sacrifice, in my opinion, I think cash should be played in a way where you fit as many winning players as you can, and you let the numbers crunch themselves. That if you get too playful with it, or you try to fit too much into it to try to get upside, you often fall short if that team doesn't meet your expectations. I love the Weibo Gaming play with Angel, but if Weibo and RNG have a bunch of 11 and 15 kill games because they're both taking the match really seriously, you're going to be looking at Umti like he's a god. My first intuition is to go to double LCK and fit possibly a player from EDG into it, which I think is possible. I think I saw a lineup like that with Umti. And if we can do that, I kind of get my fill of where I want to be in the lineup. But support captain is just not something that I can live with. I love the idea, but I just can't live with it. If you do, let me see here.
Well, let me ask you: would you be interested in a support captain if it was 4 EDG with Brion? You're getting Lava, you're getting Delight, you're getting Viper. I mean, the problem for me is that the spot that I want to go to, and we have started to see the shift, and I don't think people have fully grasped it, but mids are outscoring ADCs right now on a semi-regular basis, not every time. Obviously,
they're more
obviously you're still getting your Jinx pop-off games, but you've got mids like Scout, like Angel, Xiaohu, and especially Lava. Lava is a guy that if you're playing your Brion stacks, you're playing Lava. I don't know, man. I think that you can play that damn one. It projects just as well. This projects well. I think support captain in head-to-heads, totally okay. Like you said, let somebody else figure it out. They're going to play somebody from Weibo. They're going to play somebody from RNG. If they play somebody from Weibo and RNG, if you can get your winning, all your guys winning, which I think Damwon and EDG will, you'll have 7 winners, and they're going to potentially have 5 or 6.
Well, according to Moose, you can get EDG and LGD, and LGD is going to score just as well, even a loss. So.
I'm just saying, I've seen it. We saw it happen last week. It could happen again. This is the kind of stuff.
They've scored 70, 80s in the 80s, and several times over the past 5. So I get that. But one of those lineups you made had the bro team. The first thing I'll say is the very first lineup I built when I went to cash was looking to stack, and I laid it on the Shy captain lineup that you pulled up. And I think a lot of people are going to. So then I started, okay, well, I got to get a little bit different than that, especially if I'm doing double ups, which I know is, questionable. But you get behind the train, and next thing you know, you're got the fourth best lineup, but you're not cashing. So then I did look at the one-off team with Bro, and then I think with cash, you're got to get three things right at that point. So I think this slate for favorite fitting is something that we haven't really had to deal with in several weeks that I can recall, where you couldn't get at least a jungler in there. And then when you can fit a jungler, you can play around and get a little bit different while still making sure you got the safety of two pretty good favorites. So I think there's a level of difficulty here, and it's going to be interesting for the cash games to see what people go with in winner take alls, head to heads, and the double ups.
Yeah, I'm not a support captain guy. Anybody that's watched me or talk or heard me talk about anything knows that. But when it comes just right down to it, when what you can do with EDG and Damwon is support captain, I think on a slate like this, you're okay. I mean, and here's kind of the thought process behind it. Let's apply these settings. Let's generate this.
Everybody's playing with the same salary and the same difficulty, so
yeah, I mean, and that that goes back to when people complain about certain things, like everybody's playing with the same set of information and whatnot. Look, here's the thought process. If you go with that angel captain, the problem that I see with that is that you are asking for a third thing. You're inviting a third team into the mix, and now you got to get three things right. Even though it seems like the easiest thing in the world, you can't tell me if you made multiple lineups the other day that you didn't one off some FPX team slots, right? Because they're minus 700. It's gonna happen. Well, this Bro team is minus 200 essentially. Maybe it should be more. Maybe it would be more. Maybe it wouldn't even be on the board if we knew who was playing at HLE. But I feel like Sam D's coming back. I don't know if we've seen word on that, but like all these other COVID games have not been on the board for Bovada, and this game is. And that, look, maybe they don't know anything in that regard. But plus, I think.
Sorry, I was just gonna say. Plus, he's had COVID for a lot longer than the new guys or the jungler who just got it. So he's probably getting out of his quarantine time. I don't know that I have the full team, but I definitely could see him being back.
Yeah, and he definitely doesn't have any comorbidities, so he's definitely okay. Super fit guy, that Sam D. You've got EDG and Damwon, and like you just can't get away from the safety that provides. If you don't want to go with the Kellen captain, I totally get it. I don't think you can get 4 EDG otherwise, but you can go with a Miko captain. You could go with the EDG team. There are a couple different options. Moose, I know you don't particularly like this, but, I think a lineup like this one right here gives you a lot of safety if you're going to play cash. But look, do what you want. I don't care.
It's nasty, but I think it's the right choice because, Miko does have games where he gets 70 and 80 points. He will, he does have a floor of like a 50, 60 point floor, especially if Edward Gaming do what they're supposed to do against LGD. I think because of that upside for the support, that is probably the best option to play. At the same time, it's like it is the kind of night where you have to play these. You have to make the hard choice. Are you gonna eat the chalk, or are you gonna eat the chalk really hard?
So Moose, let me tell you how you win all the money, or a scenario where you win all the money, where you win your cash games, where you win your GPPs. You play the Damwon EDG, Kellen or Miko captain. Doesn't matter. You play that, okay? And then you take your EDG lineup and you take Damwon out, and then you put RNG in. Because here, I mean, what it comes down to is if you are playing that, you're essentially, you can win either way, but you're hoping that RNG wins. Because if RNG wins, your people that you're playing in cash against are probably playing Weibo. That's probably the route that they went. That's what, at least in my echo chamber, what I've seen people talk about, and I don't quite understand it aside from the pricing, because they're not a huge favorite. That's not what you want. It's kind of a coin flip game. So if they lose and RNG wins, and you have that in your GPPs, man, you could be rich.
I
But
respect it. I respect it.
hey, it might be the way to go. But it's putting a lot of eggs in a basket, and if you drop the basket, the eggs break unless you hard boil them, right? So let's talk about from a GPP perspective. Let's talk about ownership. This is going to be 100% a test of my theory. My theory of life finds a way. Will EDG be the highest owned team on this slate? Justin?
Yeah. So I have them only slightly higher than Weibo. They're super expensive on a slate where pricing is difficult. Obviously dogs are much cheaper, and we're talking about GPP specifically, but I think Weibo and EDG's ownership are going to be very similar, and I think that they're both going to be around 25%. I don't see a big discrepancy between them two.
What do you think, Moose? Do you think EDG is going to be higher owned than Weibo, or do you think Fred Brion gets into that equation? Let's talk about from the 333 perspective.
I don't think people like playing support captains. So I can imagine, I can see a world where like Miko and Zhao Zhang are highly owned, but then like the bigger carries are less owned, and that's where we see like the bros and the DKs like dominate the top, which is what I think we're gonna see. Because I really, if you really pay attention to pricing, it's always that second or third team that really sticks out to people, and they kind of like tunnel vision towards that, and then they have problems fitting the most expensive team on the slate. And in this case, I think they're gonna have problems fitting the most expensive team on the slate. Man, tonight's weird, and it's gonna get weird.
Well, and I think that the problem for creating EDG stacks is that who are you pairing with? Like you have one dance partner, and that's RNG, right? Like you can pair him with RNG. There's no problem with doing RNG. Boom, you get a mid captain. You can do a 3-3-4. I'm sure you can do a 4-3. There are a lot of different variations you can do. That's fine. But then what are you doing? You're not playing HLE, right? You're not game stacking. I mean, some of us will. You're not probably playing them with sandbox. I mean, like those are your options that you're running into. And while that one looks pretty, I mean, I like that one. I like that lineup. I'm not gonna lie. Get a little dove action, get a little closer, get a little scout, sandbox gaming. Probably can even throw in a different team slot if you wanted. Maybe you can go with a bro team slot. I don't know. Like that's the equation. Or, if you do something like this, this is getting kind of crazy. And I don't know if I can rightfully tell somebody to do this. Damn, you can't do it. That is just unbelievably sad.
Do EDG, bro, or when you're done with your creation there. Sorry. I'm trying to stop Fantasy Labs.
He's trying to fit lava in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's get Miko out. Let's go.
You're just getting nasty now, so you're just getting
what?
really
What? You don't want to do a 3-2-2? You don't think that that's okay?
I play 3-2-2 all the time. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think I'd play that in the 333.
I was about to say in the 333 that would be kind of tight.
Look, the fact is like. I really feel like the -200 for Brion should really be higher. They have their team, they have their coaches. They're, in my opinion, they're a team that dominates these kind of games, especially when they have the mental edge early. And in this case, I can't think of HLE having a worse time than showing up with half their team. They're having issues with coordinating whatever they need to coordinate for the game. Players that are called up from really crappy challenger leagues if Sam D doesn't play. If Sam D does play, Vista's still out, and Vista's like the cornerstone of that team. I really think that if I had to price it with everything we've talked about, I think -200 is more than fair. And I really want to fit Lava into my lineups, especially with the way he plays these mid laners.
So do you think that Bro is going to be the highest owned at that point? Like, I mean, because Bro fits with everybody. Like, I mean, you're gonna. Here's the way that
it's Bro Day for sure.
Look, if and I'm not saying that I'm going to do this, and I might just go withdraw because I actually hate this slate so much. As a matter of fact,
slate sucks. Yeah.
But you're getting like, I mean, I can see somebody with their 3 lineups because this is how people play. You're going to take Fred Brion, you're going to play him with Weibo. You're going to do something like this right here. You're going to go Frederick Brion. You're going to go Weibo. You get a Lava Captain. You'll probably move this around somewhat. You can do whatever you want. Or you maybe do a Henna or Huang Feng. That's probably what people will do. Then you're going to go over here, and you're going to go Bro, and you're going to put it with RNG. And you're probably going to play Bin. You're not going to play Morgan. That's some balls.
That's
You can play some. Like I like if you're going to do that, though. Play Morgan, because people won't go to the top laner on that, and that could work out for you. It might not. And then finally,
is Morgan starting for Bro?
Well, we don't know. Probably it's like, will he start game 2? You have to assume if they win that he doesn't get subbed out. But maybe he does.
Man, I think that they start Sword tonight because they think they have this one in the bag. They always do that. I would not be surprised to see them just start Sword and say like, "Hey guys, we really want to." Like, man, what did Morgan do, bro? Like, whose cereal did Morgan piss in? They hate this guy. Like, just give him the slate. Just give him a 3-game slate. Like, let the man play. Is he the best top laner? No. But is he Sword level bad? No. Like, stop comparing them.
So one of the things, I mean, I've seen a lot of different aspects of the quarantine rules, because we've seen people get out of quarantine a lot sooner than like the 10-day waiting period. And I think there is an added element of how recently they were vaccinated, whether they were vaccinated,
right.
and all those things. And it's just a lot to try and figure out. Thankfully, you can set an alarm. You can wake up early. You can get to this. Justin, you had something that you wanted me to kind of play with here. What was it?
Yeah, no, I was messing with. Didn't have my fantasy list pulled up, and I was trying to see exactly what would fit, and it led me to the question of, so for GPPs in a normal scenario, the 9 out of 10 time outcome from tomorrow morning, if EDG wins, I have them being the most optimal point scoring team in 4 stacks or however you want to do it. So at that point, you gotta just play them with some really ugly plays because of their pricing and get their carries, jungle, mid, or ADC, or you just gotta say, okay, I'm gonna spin the roulette wheel and it's gonna land on LGD in the morning, and then you take out, over half of the field if that happens. My question: do you see anybody outscoring EDG on a normal 8 out of 10 outcome morning?
Yeah, look, I think Bro can outscore him. I think Weibo or RNG can outscore him. The median is obviously that EDG is going to be the highest scoring team most of the time, but just as frequently as we've seen these games from LGD where they give up. Let me find my little thing here. There we go. It's called Mouse. Yeah. When we have these LGD games, let's go down to it. Man, they don't have a ton where they just get rolled. You know what I'm saying? Like, they give up a ton of kills. They fight. My concern would be, and what you're worried about, is something similar to the IG series. That's still 34 kills, but that's under their projection. Mm-hmm. Maybe something similar to the WE series where it's 31 kills. That's a worry that I would have. It really kind of just is reminiscent of even this V5 series where they went, 15-5, 13-6, because those are the type of things that you do have to kind of take into account when, Moose is saying, like, look, RNG was not looking at RA. They're looking at Weibo here. Look, EDG doesn't want to mess around and play a skirmish-style game. They probably just want to get some wins here because they're falling behind. And so that is the concern that I would have with just auto-locking EDG points aside. That being said, they do have a ton of kills. They do project super high, and LGD projects give up a lot of points. So
then as questionably the highest owned team tonight, give or take a percentage with Weibo, you just fade them in large GPPs, EDG that is, except for maybe their team slot.
Yeah, I mean, it just, you go and you make a bunch of lineups and you just start feeling what's easy to make, what you feel comfortable with. And if you end up with a lot of, EDG in the first run, I think that you kind of take them out and then just realize that a lot of people are going to find a way to do that. I don't think that's the case, though. I think that we're overestimating what EDG's ownership is going to be, and I think it's going to be a tick lower. I don't think it's going to be a lot lower because people will try and find different creative ways, especially in the larger GPPs. But when we're talking the smaller entry like the 44, we're talking the 333, these 100 to 150 man contests, I think we're going to have a lot lower ownership on EGD than we're expecting. I think most of that's going to get shifted over towards, Bro, or you're just going to see a lot of EDG, RNG, and that's my fear because that's the lineup I want to make. I didn't think it was sneaky, and it doesn't sound like it is. So that's kind of my take. I think that every single team is playable tonight, different degrees, and you have a different set of variables to consider with each one of them. So with that, let's kind of wrap this up. Moose, tell me something. I don't care what you say. You don't have to have a conviction call. You just tell me about your crabs. I don't care. Your crypto crabs, that is.
Look, I love Bro on the slate because when they played Chile last time, just looking historically, they did beat them. They didn't score too well because for whatever reason, but really, I came in with the name double LCK all day, and I'm still confident that both of the LCK favorites are probably winning today. And Damwon, as bad as they are, Sandbox gives up a lot of points, man. And they make people like Ghost look good. They make people like Dread look good. If you look at the team metrics that somebody posted over the weekend in the esports department Discord, Damwon's like second or third in all the team metrics. They still have what they need to do. Don't be surprised to see Kellen with 77, Canyon with 85, Duckdom with 85, Showmaker with nothing because he doesn't participate in the game. But these other Damwon players, they can score. And again, like both of these LCK favorites, they're coming in with the mental edge. And the fact is our 50-50 game of the night, Weibo and RNG, really what I think we see from that game is at the end of the day, I always tell this to myself because I take a deep breath when I look at a slate like this and I have one 50-50 game where I really feel like it's only one 50-50 game. I tell myself the following. I tell myself that one of these teams has to win. Okay, like somebody's got to win, right? It's the best of three. Somebody has to win. At the end of the day, the over and unders for that game is the same as the EDG game and the LGD game, and it's only a little bit higher than the LCK matches. So I think this slate is actually so interesting because you have a chance where the LCK matches are optimal, or you have the chance where RNG wins and all the WBG players feel dumb. At the same time, you have a slate where RNG just loses and WBG just rolls. But the fact is the range of outcomes for tonight is so high, even if, like I said, even if LGD wins a game, that could be optimal. We could see Damwon score 12 kills a game. We could see Bro score 14, 15 kills a game. We could see WBG win a 15 kill game, RNG win a 14 kill game, and a WBG or RNG 15 or 16 kill win. There's a lot of outcomes tonight, and I don't think anybody's wrong. I think there's a lot of things that you can consider. But like you said, the way you got to be different is you got to look at the 50-50 match. You got to look at the LCK lines and get creative because a lot of people will be on EDG. A lot of people will be on the Bro Damwon favorites. And a lot of people will not be looking at the dogs.
Yeah, I mean, no, anybody's right, anybody's legend. They're not playing tonight. Justin, what's your final thought on the slate?
Just as he was talking about the double LCK at first, I was thinking, a month ago or more, earlier in the split, LP teams were crushing it. And then over the past 2 or 3 weeks, we've slowly seen one LCK team be optimal quite a bit. So that's transitioning. So it only makes sense that the other side of that spectrum has double LCK on the other side. So I do think he's on to something there. But the ownership here, we're talking about the range of outcomes. I'm looking at like 25% to be the max. It's 4 games versus the 5 games we've had recently. So I think that that's low still for one team on a 4-game slate. I would think that would be average on a 5-game slate. So I do agree with the range of outcomes. And the last thing I'll say about the slate is HLE. If you can get those lineups in, it's probably not terrible to look at them. Just because of ownership, I do think this match is closer than it sounds like maybe you two think, depending on who starts. But we got no real idea from that last game with those substitute players because they played the best team in the LCK and got smashed. So, they could just have some skill, just not quite for that level of competition.
Well, they are the worst team in the Challenger series. They've won like 5 games in that series. So even against the lower competition, they've struggled. So that's the concern that we have.
Yeah.
Or I have. But yeah, you're right. Like they can totally win. So set an alarm, put some in there. I totally agree with that. Look, the other thing to remember, if you're one of the people that watch this show, I think that we talk about LCK a lot more than other tout sites or people that do this, without any type of help. People don't like playing the LCK. I mean, look, it's evident even in the esports department Discord where despite all the success that they've had, people still don't want to do it. You can just think about if you are somebody that does it, you don't like doing it. You don't want to do it. It's a preconceived bias that you have. And then when it doesn't work, you get the confirmation bias and you just stand there stronger. When we look at things that have worked in the past, 2 days ago, 3-4 works, right? So we saw a lot of 3-4s yesterday. I played a 3-4. You saw a top captain take it down yesterday. I guarantee you're going to see a lot of top captains out there today because people do that. Whatever happened the day before, they will try and play the next day because it's what's fresh in their mind. But for whatever reason, people still don't play the LCK even when they win for like 2 weeks straight. Doesn't happen. If you're on another tout site, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but where I look and what I see, people don't like playing LCK. So let's just keep it rolling. Let's play some LCK. Let's play some dogs. Let's have some fun and let's take down some GPPs. I will see you in 2 days. We won't be back tomorrow. It's only a 2-game LCK slate. Nobody's got time for that. We'll be back with a 5-gamer on Thursday.
I appreciate you.